You know that feeling when you're speaking another language and you've nailed the vocabulary, the grammar is technically there,
Mm.
but you just see this tiny flicker of confusion on the other person's face?
Hmm.
It's not that you're wrong exactly, it's just that you don't sound natural.
It's the fluency paradox, right?
Ah.
You can pass the test, but completely fail the vibe check.
That is exactly what we are digging into today. We've got this great guide on mastering natural English, and the core argument is it's fascinating. It says our biggest mistakes don't come from not knowing the rules.
No, they come from habit, from our brains trying to be a bit too helpful.
How so?
We just, rely on muscle memory. We translate the logic of our native language directly into English. So today isn't really about learning new words.
It's about debugging that code.
Exactly. Debugging that translation code so you sound less like a textbook and more like a local.
Okay, so let's jump right into the verbal trap. The guide flags a sentence I hear constantly. I am knowing him from 5 years.
Oh, this is such a common one. And it feels right, doesn't it? Because logically, you are currently in the process of knowing him.
Right. But English grammar puts verbs into, what, 2 boxes, actions and states?
Precisely. Actions are things you do. Running, eating. You could be in the middle of those.
But know is a state verb.
Right. Think of it like a light switch versus a dimmer. Actions are on a dimmer. You can be doing them continuously. But knowing, it's a switch. It's either on or off. You know him or you don't.
So you can't be knowing. You have to use the finished state. I have known him.
It's a tiny shift, I know.
Yeah.
But using that continuous ing form there it screams translation error.
Speaking of our brains being too helpful, what about the did rule? This is where we try to double dip on the past tense. I see this all the time. I didn't eat food.
Ah, yes. This happens because we desperately want to emphasize that it happened in the past. So we use did, which is past tense, and then we add ate, also past tense.
But English is actually kind of lazy here, right?
Yeah.
Once you've used did, you've already flagged the timeline. You don't need to do it again.
It's just redundant. After did or didn't, the verb should always be in its base form, the neutral form, I didn't eat.
Same logic with I'm agree with you.
Mm.
We're used to agree being an adjective in other languages, like being happy or hungry, so we add the am.
But in English, agree is the action itself. You just do it.
I agree. Simple as that.
It's so interesting how these errors reveal the logic of a speaker's first language.
Yeah.
That becomes really clear when we get into vocabulary. Take the phrase, open the fan.
I love this one. The logic behind it actually makes perfect sense. In a lot of languages, you open a circuit to let electricity flow, or you open the air.
It does. It's almost poetic, But English speakers see the fan as a machine, not a flow. We open doors and windows things with hinges.
But for electronics, we
We turn on or switch on.
There's also a cultural layer to these things. The guide points out the phrase, he is my cousin brother.
That's a pure cultural artifact.
Yeah.
In many cultures, that specificity really matters. You need to know if it's a male or female cousin to understand the dynamic.
Whereas English is just comfortable with ambiguity. Cousin is gender neutral. Adding brother just sounds like you're over-explaining.
It does. Or asking, what is your good name?
Oh, that's such a polite, respectful phrasing in Indian English. It's a direct translation of an honorific.
It is, and it's lovely. But to say a U.S. or U.K. ear, it sounds a little puzzling because we don't really have a concept of a bad name. We just ask.
What's your name?
Or, may I know your name? Using the regionalism doesn't make you wrong, but it immediately marks you as an outsider to that specific dialect.
And that realization can make people really self-conscious, which brings us to the mindset piece. The guide argues that how we talk about our skills actually changes how we perform.
This was my favorite part, actually.
Yeah.
It warns against the phrase, my English is weak.
Grammatically, it's fine.
It's perfectly correct.
Yeah.
But psychologically, it's self-sabotage. You're defining your identity by a deficit. It sets the tone that you're less than.
So the suggestion is to flip it. Say, I am improving my English, or I am still learning.
Exactly. It turns a weakness into an active process. Confidence also comes from brevity. Instead of the slightly clunky, I will tell you after some time, which sounds like a scheduled appointment.
Just say, I'll tell you later.
Short, punchy, and confident.
So the mission for everyone listening isn't to go memorize a dictionary. It's to just listen to yourself today.
Catch those moments where you're translating instead of speaking. If you catch yourself thinking, I am knowing this rule, just pause. Flip the switch. I know this rule.
And here's a final thought to mull over. We often hold on to these translation habits because, in a way, they feel like home. So, at what point does correcting your grammar start to feel like you're losing a little piece of your cultural identity? That's the real balance of fluency. Thanks for deep diving with us.